Meeting is being live streamed. Just so you all know, I hope you had consent to be recorded.
Nah, bro, I'm suing.
You can sue me for tens of dollars.
You think I logged on to a podcast recording to be recorded? Come on.
All right. You should be able to find the link in the YouTube, but I'll put it in the chat. All right, there's a link to the YouTube. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, hold on. What episode are we on? Who knows?
141.
Nope.
Was that a guess?
136.
Yeah, that was a guess.
130. You were close. Pretty good over under. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 137. Marvel Hours are back. Big Marvel boys on the podcast.
Here to pay tribute to our Marvel overlords. Let's go.
You know, our biannual, no, sometimes triannual.
Sometimes
tribute. Yeah.
Sometimes
tribute.
weekly.
Yeah, sometimes but weekly, bi-weekly. Who's to say however many projects that the Lord and Savior Kevin Feige has rolling out, which may be less and less actually now that Bob Iger too. We can talk about it. This week we were reviewing the largest movie on the planet, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, or Ant-Man 3, whichever one you want to call it. Because do we care about the Wasp?
The 31st Marvel movie, by the way. And I got a lot of bars to get off about the Wasp because her name is in the title. So you would imagine that she plays a part in the movie, right? You would imagine she has an independent storyline and, all that good stuff.
They were like, you know what? She probably got the cooties. We can't have her doing too much. She on that shit.
This movie was 30 minutes longer before her comments. This movie was only 2 hours long. This
what were her comments again? I forgot about them.
It was vaccine related. We don't have to get into it, and I also don't want to
I should have fucking known that the Wasp was an anti-vaxxer. I should have known.
That haircut tells y'all you need to know.
She got the haircut. Definitely the anti-vax haircut.
I don't want to misspeak on Evangeline Lilly, but she, had some comments that got her in hot water with the higher ups, I believe, at Disney. The PR machine went into overdrive, as they have done a couple of times now.
They're
Marvel
like,
stars.
if these movies are gonna fail, it's gonna be because of the movie being bad. It's not gonna be because of some shit you said. We are.
So they let one
one
anti-vaxxer get the mantle of Black Panther, and the other one they gave 4 lines to in the Ant-Man movie. Damn, her agent got to be trash.
Reverse racism, baby. We back.
Oh my god, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania, getting reviewed badly. 6.6 even on IMDb, which we know is historically
useless,
false, and pumps up projects. But 6.6 on IMDb, 48 Metascore, the number 14 overall popularity movie right now,
that's super low.
Weird. Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, along with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, explore the quantum realm where they interact with strange creatures and embark on an adventure that goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. That was way too long. The synopsis. Directed by Peyton Reed. This is his third Ant-Man movie. Written by Jeff Loveless, his first feature film that he has written. He was a staff writer on Rick and Morty, among other shows, and you can tell.
It's in there.
Yeah, he was also on a show that I think a lot of people like called Miracle Workers, which is a Daniel Radcliffe show, broad comedy on TBS. But yes,
Daniel Radcliffe is in the most random shit now.
He got fuck you money. He didn't care.
He's in the Weird Al movie that you have to have the most obscure streaming service ever to watch. He's on a TBS show. And
is the Weird Al movie good? I haven't heard.
It was apparently good. Yeah.
I want to see it if it's good.
It was like a parody, I think, which makes a lot of sense. So anyway, Peyton Reed's third Ant-Man movie, Paul Rudd's third Ant-Man movie, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer making her like third appearance in the MCU. Catherine Newton, who was just a complete like character swap. They just like
They just swapped
kicked
out
that
Cassie.
kicked that other actress to the curb from what was that? From Endgame.
Completely swapped her out.
That stinks.
She put out a statement. She was like, "Yeah, I hope this doesn't mean my time in the MCU is over, and if I could ever help the MCU." And I was like, "Damn, they just swapped you out crazy." Like she didn't
They
even.
said you turned 30. You are no longer of use to us.
Tough luck, kid. I don't know.
Damn.
Wait, she's 30?
Cold world out
older.
there.
She was older when or she was in her, 20-year-olds play teenagers and stuff whenever that came out. But I think she's our age. I think she's probably like 28 or something like that. I don't she hadn't been in a lot of other things other than the in Endgame. And the big reveal, which we all knew if you watched Loki, which I think a lot of people did, and some people didn't. So if you didn't, you were probably thoroughly confused by who this was. Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. Also William Jackson Harper makes an appearance.
My boy Cheedy.
Cheedy showed up. MCU canon. He's in there.
Bill Murray makes an appearance. This is the top movie overall, as you would have guessed, on the box office. $104 million worldwide, or no, U.S. opening weekend. It's made 118 in the U.S. Worldwide gross. The Marvel machine keeps on turning, folks. Don't care what you think about this movie. $357 million worldwide. So these movies do gangbusters in China and such when they release them over there. Actually, this is essentially what I've heard is essentially like Marvel is their Star Wars because they didn't get Star Wars right away. So it's funny because when you go watch a Star Wars movie or see a Star Wars movie and it breaks all those records, it's doing most of that in North America actually. But these continue to pump, just printing money over there at the Disney Corporation. Good. Anyway, now we get into the contentious part. I know there's a long intro, but 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes it tied for the lowest reviewed Marvel movie of all time.
Which is tied with?
Eternals. Tied with the Eternals.
Come on, that's
also
ridiculous.
I think Thor: The Dark World.
That's ridiculous. This is not Eternals level. What are we doing, guys? I hate
that's insane.
Doesn't Rotten Tomatoes have Ant-Man 1 ranked higher than Infinity War? That's like a thing.
Something like they were constantly in the 70s, I believe, but I can find out. But it has an 84% audience score. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania also lacks the spark of fun that elevated earlier adventures, but Jonathan Majors' Kang is a thrilling villain poised to alter the course of the MCU. Tej disagrees.
I agree with some of that. I agree that Jonathan Majors was phenomenal. I think that it's clear that his portrayal of the character is going to be a lot of fun. I think he did what he was supposed to do on the movie set, and he's a movie star. And this movie's going to do numbers, partially because Paul Rudd, but this is going to do numbers bigger than the other Ant-Man movies because this movie was billed as the big one. This is not a small stakes Ant-Man movie where the first, the big bad fight happens on on a childhood train and in a briefcase. Like our stakes are much bigger now, but this is an Ant-Man movie and it's not as quirky or as zany as those very small time movies. This is supposed to be the big one. So, going into the movie theater, you think my thought process going into the movie theater was they have one job with this film, only one. It is to make me walk out of the movie theater and think, holy shit, Kang is here. All my favorite superheroes are fucked. This guy is about to put up numbers on all my favorite superheroes. And that's what I wanted to see in the movie. And I also like the Ant-Man movies. They're zany. They're fun. Paul Rudd's always fun to be around. So, I feel like this is like a mixture of two things. You got to make another zany Ant-Man movie, but you also have to basically lay out a fast break for Kang so that he can hit the ground running in the MCU. I think that they failed in those regards. I think that they failed to set up Kang in the way that they should have. just because if this is Kang 1, it failed, but it also fails as Ant-Man 3 because being in the quantum realm, while zany and fun, and I love Rick and Morty just like the next people, and I like Star Wars just like everybody else. So throwing them in the world of Rick and Morty does Star Wars does have its moments of good stuff. There's some good stuff in here. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes there's cute and quirky characters. MODOK was incredible. I laughed the entire time. Every time they showed him on screen, I absolutely loved it.
Ridiculous, man.
It just worked every time for me. He looking at his face was just so ridiculous. I could not stop laughing every time. He thinks he died in Avenger. That's just objectively
Hilarious.
funny. That's just hilarious. So like there are moments in the movie that it feels like a fun Ant-Man movie. The little squiggly character that you can tell the Rick and Morty guy wrote with the you drink him and you can hear the languages and he just wants
I
holes.
have holes.
Great character. Very funny. Literally feels like it was pulled out of a page of a Rick and Morty sketch that did not make it into the main show and put into this movie. But it works. But I just feel like my biggest gripe with the movie is that Jonathan Majors does an incredible job, and then we're gonna have to spoil this movie up front, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
spoiler
big
alert,
spoilers.
dropping it
If you're
down. There are
watching
big
this and you
spoilers.
haven't seen the movie.
Big
fault.
spoilers.
That's your
Yeah,
fault.
dumb
If you're
choice.
listening to the pod, if you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to spoil, stop right here. Okay. So obviously, Ant-Man and two octogenarians, and a whole bunch of ants beat Kang. Now, that's fine. They're allowed to write the good guys winning. I just think it was not a courageous choice. I think it was a cowardice choice, and I think that the whole story, whatever story you're setting up, is set up better if this Kang wipes the floor with a, no disrespect to Ant-Man, a D-level Avenger. Like I like Ant-Man, like everybody else. He's quirky, he's cool, he's get some one-liners off. But if you're telling me that this is the new big bad, this is the guy that's going to have the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four in absolute hell and make me think, holy shit, this guy's going to win. If you are going to present this guy as that, he cannot lose a one-on-one fade to Michael Douglas, who's like 84 years old, to Janet Van Dyne and Michelle Pfeiffer, who's not a young woman, and they don't even have to get their heart rates above 85 BPM to beat Kang. Like Michael Douglas didn't get a scratch on him. Cassie got hung up one time. No scratches on Cassie. She's good. Right now, the Lang family is sitting at Maggiano's, casually having Sunday night dinner, and everybody's living their best life. But they were in the quantum world, and they went head up with Kang, and they won. Now, obviously, the post-credit scene, because people have said this movie has done its job. It's setting up Kang. I would very much disagree with that because, one, a lot of the quote-unquote setup of the movie is just the rehash of the stuff that we learned in Loki. And this is the part we hit on, is Roy said at the beginning, a lot of people watch Loki, but not this many people watch Loki. Obviously, people watch the movies more than they watch the TV shows. So what I feel like this film was, if you remove all the gloss, is a way to bring Kang into the MCU, but with the caveat that we're bringing him into the MCU basically to introduce him to the people who did not see him in Loki. And that push and pull of the disjunction of some of the storylines happening below the surface, some of the storylines happening above the surface where everybody's watching the movies, it messed up the movie for me because I either want a quirky, fun Ant-Man movie or I want a real Kang 1 movie that is not, the setup stuff isn't just a low-key rehash about what the rules of this is before we go forward. And I feel like you didn't get either one of them right. When I left the theater, I thought it was a B. I ended up at a C+. I'm going to give Ant-Man Quantumania a C+. And there are a lot of movies in Phase 4 that y'all shitted on that I told y'all was good. And they're not as, this movie falls below those films. I'm sorry, except for Eternals, which is obviously the most dog shit movie of all time. I'm not putting it on that level. I'm not.
Yeah,
But
having this the same Rotten Tomato score as Eternals.
I would never disrespect it in that way because I had zero fun in Eternals. No fun at all. No laughs. Chloe Zhao is boring. It's just the worst. It's awful. But this movie, there's fun moments. There are times where you feel like you can lean into the Ant-Man-ness of it, and you do get fun moments. It's always nice to see. Not Michael Shannon. Sorry, Michael Douglas. It's always fun to see him and Michelle Pfeiffer. And I like the Ant-Man movie, so there are moments of fun. I would give it a C+.
By the way, you were correct. Ant-Man and the Wasp has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than Infinity War.
That's disgusting. And I like Ant-Man and the Wasp. Infinity War
Rotten-
might be the best Marvel movie they've made. That shit is peak cinema. That's disgusting.
Rotten Tomatoes has never beaten the allegations, bro. That shit is
Ever.
crazy. Holy fuck. I love Rotten Tomatoes and I use it every day, but holy fuck, dude, that's awful.
There's just no way to add to like properly. I guess like Metacritic maybe, but even then, it's like that's even an aggregate as well too. I have no idea how you actually. You know what? Listen to us. Listen to our takes.
Exactly.
That's how you rate movies. That's how you
Look
should
at
rate
our
movies.
look at our letterbox, listen to our podcast, and that's where you can get the info you need.
Dex, you like this movie significantly more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only a letter grade higher. To be fair, I'm at a B+ for this movie. I liked it, didn't love it, but yeah, I strongly disagree with what Teach is saying about Kang. I feel like they set him up great. He looks incredible because like all these superheroes and basically their little like Star Wars rebellion that they had outside had to catch a lucky break to beat this man, one of him. And now every Kang in the multiverse, literally all of them are coming to fight the Avengers. Like these niggas in trouble. Like, you know what I'm saying? If it took all of that, it took the fucking quantum realm ants living thousands of years in a single day to advance technology to that point or whatever in the quantum realm to like lock Kang up for 5 seconds, and then he popped back out and was whooping their ass again, literally giving Scott Lang the hands, had them in hell, and then he died on like this lucky break when Evangeline Lilly shows up and blasts COVID at him, and then he lands he lands into like a fucking multiversal portal glitch or something and dies. If that's what y'all got to do to be one of them, how you gonna beat every single one of them from every like timeline in the multiverse? Like these motherfuckers are in trouble. And also Jonathan Majors is just dope as hell. His character is super dope. I love how they set him up and had him like before you even met him as Kang, all the characters were just like, oh, you're gonna bring him here, or like he's like looking at us, he's coming. Like they didn't say his name. He's like fucking Mufasa or some shit. Like, they were afraid to say Kang. I thought that was so dope. And then he shows up and he's giving everybody bars. Like Michelle Pfeiffer is like begging him not to kill trillions of people, and he's like, I wish that mattered. I'm like, this is so fucking dope. Jonathan Majors is that fucking guy. I'm excited to see whatever it is they end up doing with him. I don't know the comic books. I don't know where the shit is going. I don't know what that's going to look like, but whatever it looks like, I'm glad Jonathan Majors is doing it and I'm on board. But the rest of the movie, I don't really remember all that much about the other Ant-Man movies. I saw them both the one time in the theater and then never really thought about them again after that.
Mega self-contained.
Yeah. So like, I remember T.I. is in one or both of them for some reason, like cracking jokes and shit, and like they're doing like stealing stuff. But you know, I'm like not super attached to the Ant-Man vibe of movies. So, you know, for this one, I was like, you know, just do your thing, do whatever. And they did like fucking Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Everything Everywhere All at Once, and you know, just MCU take on a bunch of other movies and shit. And like I thought some of it was really cool. The Star Wars stuff they did was dope, like having them lead this rebellion or whatever, and like go on like these alien adventures and shit, leading a rebellion against this evil emperor. That was cool. The Lord of the Rings stuff where like in fucking Return of the King, like like Gandalf shows up with all the animals or whatever, like, but they do that with ants. Wasn't feeling that. But the rest of it I thought was like, it was good, not great. So yeah, I give it a B+. I enjoyed it. I've seen it twice now. I'm probably not gonna watch it a third time anytime soon, but I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it.
If you don't hear Tej talking, he's trying not to die in a fire, apparently. So,
oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
It's a fire, and instead of like heeding a warning, he's just ignoring it. All right, super smart. Let's keep going. it hasn't been this way for me the entire time with Phase 4 of the MCU, but in this one, it is me, big time movie enjoyer. I just went in there and enjoyed a movie. Like, I know that we're supposed to analyze these to a T, and everything is under a microscope with Marvel because it is the biggest franchise of all time. It has now spanned most of our lives. It is, like Teach said, on 31 movies now, which is, oh, brother, that's insane. And people have been going into these later ones, including me, and just not having as good of a time as we did. And I just came into this one and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take away what we've been ascribing to these movies, the lack of stakes or the messy stories, and I just kind of enjoyed it for what it was. Now, I do understand that a lot of people wanted Thanos, and this is the next Thanos. And oh man, we dispatched with Thanos in one movie. How, you know, there was a soccer stadium full of Thanoses. Like, like there was a World Cup stadium full of Thanoses. Thani, if you will. And no, and I just, it didn't bother me. I don't know what it was. It just did not bother me whatsoever. Now, did they do a Rick and Morty? Did they go get $5? Here's go see it. Go watch a Star War. They did go watch a Star War with this movie, and that's fine because the last Star Wars movie stunk. So
restore the feeling.
I was actually kind of fine with it. It takes a lot of tropes. I don't think, like, I like him as Ant-Man. Paul Rudd having to act against Jonathan Majors, who's like a Yale trained actor.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is
a tough look.
Out of his league.
It's a tough look.
Paul Rudd can like match him on like charisma, but like dramatic acting, it ain't there, buddy. Sorry.
No, and I don't necessarily think he was like him having to like be mad and be like, "Where's my daughter?" is like, oh no.
Yeah, some of the script in this movie, by the way, is not good. I'm willing to acknowledge that. Like, that's one of the things that keeps it from being like an A tier movie. Like it's never too late to stop being a dick. Like, okay, come on.
Yeah. I'm not. You know, she's a young actress and she'll have time to grow into this role, and that's why they gave it to her. But I'm not quite convinced that Catherine Newton knew what she was acting against in like the green screen volume stuff. It wasn't great. Who am I to criticize? But it also just it just wasn't good. And she had to do the not the exposition dumps, but the furthering the story dumps where it's like, why wouldn't we help these people, Dad? And you're just like, oh God, all right. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it's not happening. All right. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Can we keep it moving and get back to the big bad, please? There were some tonal issues, I will say. Yeah, because it's like you go into it and they're making like a broad comedy, like a broad family comedy, and like with the backdrop of the multiverse, which actually I could tell they were against some green screen and volume sometimes, but this is the best like a Marvel movie has looked actually in a little while.
Is it?
To me, it is.
I mean, low bar to be fair, but like
Thor: Love and Thunder kind of looked bad, and
yeah, but like this didn't look better to me. I feel like, but that's neither here nor there. It wasn't like I don't think it was distractingly bad looking or anything like that, but I wasn't like, yeah, I mean, not all of us, me and Royden saw Avatar 2 a couple months ago, so it's like, some like some of the like alien like CGI shit, like Michael Douglas was like holding little like jellyfish like balls or whatever, and like they're floating around and shit. I'm like, not great. Like seen better.
Oh yeah, this isn't going to be Avatar because James Cameron didn't get 20 years to work on one movie. But no, I just tonally it was a little weird. Like, which movie are we actually doing here? But I just came out of it having had a decent time at the movies, and that is what I'm looking for now, kind of with these movies. To call it what you will, my expectations have kind of been lowered over the past few films. Not everything, like we said, is going to be, it just physically can't, is not going to be Endgame, or it's not going to be Infinity War. It's not everything.
Yeah, you need some years to build up there. Like,
yeah, and that was my problem too. And Tej, you argued with this, but it was like it was more than just you, as people were saying, oh well, where are we going? What are we doing? What's the stakes here? Where are we going with this story? And then they told you where we were going with the story in this one and what was happening. And people were like, no, wait, not like that. And I'm just kind of like, we either have to be patient or we're not going to be patient. You know what I mean? Like, let's decide as a unit, let's decide which one we're going to do.
Yeah, and for me, like people asking for this, like, again, like T, as you did say this, but like I'm not talking specifically about you, but like people who were talking about, like, you know, I don't know what this is supposed to be like as a standalone movie. It's not supposed to be anything. No one cares about Ant-Man. That's why they used his movie for this. Like, we don't care about his standalone stories. Like, literally none of us have talked about Ant-Man and the Wasp since it came out. Like, we don't give a fuck. No. It doesn't matter. Like, so they use his movie as like the chess piece movie, you know? Back in the day, like, if you go back and watch it now, Age of Ultron was the chess piece movie where they were like, okay, we've got like a bunch of setup that we can do for like the next like step in the Marvel universe now. But they've started to do that with these like solo films. Like they did it with Multiverse of Madness. They did it with this one. I guess we'll see what comes next from here. But yeah, I like that they're doing that now. They're like, okay, nobody really cares about Doctor Strange. We're going to explain the multiverse here. No one really cares about Ant-Man. We're going to explain the quantum realm here. And here's Kang. Let's go. Like,
yeah, because we got to start giving these characters that are now, and I said this, and Teed said, well, there's D-list Avengers. I was like, all we have left are D-list Avengers. We have Spider-Man.
We have Spider-Man, and then a bunch of dudes, and hopefully some new people who are cool, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like we got to start giving these characters their fair shake, you know what I mean, and giving them opportunities, I think, to be, no pun intended for Ant, like larger, and
there's room to grow.
There's room to grow. Now, I will say, yeah, some of the script is whatever. Would I have liked to see? You know, Tej does have a point. Could we have seen Michael Douglas get got? Probably. We could have definitely seen that. Like, why not?
Is this a better movie if Ant-Man dies? Probably. But like, I didn't expect that to happen.
Oh no, I went into a superhero movie and the superhero won. You know? Like,
all right, I'm gonna try to talk. Hopefully y'all can't hear that very loud in the background. Move to the other side of my house, but stupid alarm is going off. Anyway, okay, a couple things. One, we did not have a stadium full of Thanos. That's the problem. We had a stadium full of a villain who all you need to beat him is a D-level Avenger, a couple octogenarians, and ants. Like, no disrespect to ants, but you can't have your Thanos would have never got packed up by ants. I refuse to think that would ever happen. Even if you played it out 100 times, Thanos is getting those ants the fuck out of here.
Thanos got soloed by Thor. We said this in the group chat.
Thor is a god. Ant-Man is Ant-Man. Like,
bro,
this is ridiculous. We have
Captain America has the most basic superpowers ever. Captain America is John Cena, and he like fucking was holding back punches from Thanos. You know what I'm saying? Like Like, yo, like Thanos was dope as hell. Like, don't get me wrong, but also like there was some shit in there where it's like, oh, like you getting cooked a little bit. Like he was getting cooked by fucking
When have
Wanda.
you
She
ever
wasn't
seen
even Scarlet
Thanos
Witch.
get cooked? Now, if you can tell me you have footage where Thanos was getting cooked by Hawkeye, then I think the point makes sense. But Hawkeye would never cook Thanos, and no matter how many rounds you gave them, and you don't have to have Ant-Man die, but Janet left him down there in the quantum world literally to die. He couldn't even get his get back on Janet. We could have killed Janet. Like what? He can't even. How many bodies did Kang catch in this movie? If Kang is really him, as Dexter said, if Kang is really like, oh shit, everybody in trouble, how many people did Kang kill in this film, y'all? I can name one person. It was a robot. I don't even know the robot's name. We didn't give a fuck about that robot. That's the only body he caught in the horrors of an army. Those stormtroopers went 0 for 95. They didn't touch anybody. They literally didn't touch anyone. I don't know why you give him a weak army. Obviously, is not great, but he's supposed to be funny, so at least he serves a purpose. But Kang don't got no army. Kang got a horrible sidekick, and Kang didn't catch nobody. He didn't even kill one of the ants, bros. He couldn't blast a couple of the ants. No ants dead. No animals were harmed in the filming of this film. That's the problem. We need to harm some animals. The ants should have been harmed. If Kang was really him, those ants would have had no chance. So while I appreciate the performance that Jonathan Majors gave us, and I hope that the power scaling issue is fixed in later movies, I had a big issue with that. And I grade this differently than I graded a lot of the Phase 4 movies because Thor Love and Thunder is just supposed to be a standalone Thor film. We could do a standalone Ant-Man film. That's fine. I enjoyed the last two standalone Ant-Man films. But when you trying to make something different that's supposed to be a setup movie, unfortunately, I have to look towards the future in the way that you set it up. And now I can just give you facts. Kang is 0 for 2. We've seen Kang 2 times. Kang got 2 L's on his record. We've never seen Kang win a fight ever. We've never seen it, bros. All I'm saying,
fight that woman in Loki.
At some point, if your UFC record is 0-7, you're not gonna be able to convince me that you're gonna be UFC champ one day. That's just what you can't do it. You can't just go out there and get cooked on every basis. You got to show me early wins, bro. And I wanted to see Kang get a win. And Dex said nobody cares about Ant-Man. That's exactly why packing Ant-Man up would have been the perfect way to set up your new big bad, because nobody actually cares about Ant-Man, not even Paul Rudd. And no disrespect to Ant-Man. I like Ant-Man. But he shouldn't have cooked this man. And I have issues with that. Unfortunately, I have to think about it for the future. I'm sorry.
He didn't cook this man.
I was a Phase 4 truther. I didn't expect to be this person. I have been a Phase 4 truther this entire time. I am a shill. I'm a shill for the Disney Corporation. I respect my mouse overlords, but unfortunately, this time I have to be the dude bro on the internet complaining about the Marvel movie. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I can't help it.
Tej would have given up on Jordan after those early losses to the Celtics. Would have traded him right before
saw
Scottie
Patrick
Pippen got
Mahomes
there.
against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl and was like, "This kid doesn't have it anymore. He's done. He's washed. He's never winning again."
There you go.
But
hey,
I mean,
going 0 for 2, can't win the Eastern Conference.
But hey, man, look, I get what you're saying. I do, but also like, there's like 8,000 Kangs in there, bro. Like, shit is on now. Like,
one of them is gonna catch a body, at least one.
At least one. A body is getting caught. Some of them Kangs was fucking scary.
You know
dog.
You know how many ants there are in the universe, brother? There are a lot of ants in the universe, bro.
Hey, bro, all the smart ones got left in the quantum realm. They ain't coming back. They're done. But yeah, man, I get what you're saying, and I get what a lot of other people are saying about why they don't like this movie. I just liked it, you know. Like,
it's hard like when you have decent points about like where the power scaling and all of that, I guess is a decent point, but it's hard to be the guy that's just like, I just enjoyed the movie and people are like, ew. You know what I mean?
I thought it was cool. Like, I'm sorry. Like, people are like, oh my God, how did they do this? And why did they do that? That's so stupid. MODOK. I'm like, I thought it was funny, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
So like, Tej, would you have preferred, even though MODOK is a ridiculous character, and he's ridiculous in all forms of media, by the way, like, no, they didn't like nerf MODOK or anything. He's really, insane, especially the introduction to him, like them pulling him naked out of that thing. That was crazy.
Hilarious.
So like, do we prefer that, like, okay, they go down to the quantum realm and it's the villain is MODOK, and then we just have, like Thanos was for 15 films, sitting on a chair in space somewhere, you know what I mean?
I definitely first of all, my alarm stopped, thank God. Okay.
All right, go.
I definitely prefer that. I thought about that as I left the movie. I was like, now, could MODOK have carried the whole film on the villain side and had me take it seriously at all? No. All right. But I don't care about the Ant-Man villains. If you just want to make an Ant-Man movie, I'd rather just be in San Francisco being quirky and zany and with Ant-Man and having MODOK be the villain. But we're in the quantum world, and I feel like because we changed the location, we got to amp up the stakes. But I think it's a better movie, but I don't think it makes it a good like a good movie. But I think it's better because I don't have to think about the Kangness. Kang is in the background, and you know Kang is still him, and so this L isn't on him. Like you said, Thanos is in the background. Those villains who Thanos sent were taking L's, but they weren't directly attributed to Thanos because he was just sending somebody to do the dirty work. And if Kang was so beneath, if Kang thought Ant-Man was so beneath him, which you would get from the bars he's giving him, he's telling him, Ant-Man, you're out of your league. Have I killed you before? Like, he literally I don't even know what superhero you are. Are you the one with the axe? Whatever. It doesn't matter which one you actually are. Who cares? Like, I'm Kang, bro. I'm him. I've killed multiple Avengers before. He's talking his shit. If he's not there to talk that shit and MODOK is talking that shit on his behalf, first of all, do we even believe it because we don't take MODOK seriously? But second of all, MODOK's L ain't Kang's L. That being said, I did enjoy the MODOK part of it, but I understand if someone didn't like it, but they just made it look so ridiculous that I had to, like, it was
It's
too
a ridiculous
hilarious.
character. It's a ridiculous character.
They nailed the character. Like, I just thought it was perfect. I liked the change of having Darren Cross be down there. He was already down in the quantum realm anyway, so we can repurpose him and make him the villain. I like that. That worked for me. But I do think, and this isn't necessarily a critique of the movie itself, this is more about the post-credit scene. I think that you have a stakes issue, and obviously that's what everybody says about comic book movies. But if we're in the multiverse and there are 9,000 Kangs, why are we supposed to care at all about one Kang? And we know there are 9,000 of everyone, but I think the problem you're going to come into is when you have 80 bajillion Kangs going crazy on everybody, we don't care about any particular Kang. Because there's so many of them. So do you have a stakes issue when, even if you have the next movie that Kang shows up in, maybe they fight really hard and they kill one Kang, but it's like, yeah, who cares? There's 90,000 other Kangs. So like, what does this film by itself mean? And
I feel like that's going to be what Loki season 2 is making you care about.
Hopefully
the Kangs or a Kang or whatever it is, that one Kang that they pulled up on randomly. Like, I don't know if that's like the OG Kang or whatever, but
Nikola Tesla.
That's Frederick Douglass Kang.
Yeah,
Frederick Douglass.
He looked just like Frederick Douglass.
They pulled my man's fresh out of the Prestige. Like, talking about time and space and shit. But yeah, I feel like that's what Loki season 2 is gonna be, because they have.
This got me hyped for Loki. I will say, Loki was elite cinema.
I was already hyped for Loki, so like I'm already excited for that, and I'm glad they're spacing out, like you alluded to at the beginning of the podcast. They're going to space some stuff out because we got a lot of shows and a lot of content, and they really got to space it out and slow it down. Here's the problem: bro.
We got force fed a lot of that stuff.
Yes,
now,
we did.
Did we eat it up like pigs? Yeah,
I did.
Going, give me the slop. Like, I'm right there. You know,
I even finished Moon Knight, and Moon Knight was huff from second one.
Actually, you know what? I didn't finish Moon Knight.
Moon Knight was the only thing that I like fucking hated from Phase 4. I was like, this is awful. Like, this is pushing my.
It's just pushing the limits of my MCU fandom.
Well, okay, I know the limits of my MCU fandoms. The limit is animation, because I was like, I got 2 episodes into What If, and I was like, nah.
I watched the ones that mattered before Multiverse of Madness, and I was like, you know what? I'm out.
I watched the first 2 episodes of What If, and I was like,
animation was Dex's limit. Dex was like, you know what?
Animation is the limit. Moon
Knight. You're not gonna watch the animated X-Men show? There's gonna be an animated X-Men show.
I am not watching that.
I'm watching every second of that
X-Men
shit
already, Kevin. We know you have. We know who you want. Cast it. Give us
the check, brother.
4, Kevin. We know that you already have it in the book. Just give it to us. so we can
cut the fucking
continue
checks, my guy.
speculating. That's what he's gonna do to get the bad press off of Ant-Man. He's gonna drop the casting for.
That's the power. He's just gonna be like, oh look, it's getting out that here's the Fantastic Forecast. It just happened to leak right now when the headlines are bad, and we need to go shut up because we're gonna be like, oh shit, the Fantastic Forecast is out, and we're back up again.
I do think, as far as like the projects go, so if you haven't heard, Bob Iger, who was head of Disney for years and years and years, and basically helped, facilitate Kevin Feige into this role of leading Marvel Studios and buying the Marvel properties and yada, yada, yada. He was basically over the entirety of the best run of these films. He retired in 2019. Bob Chapek came in and took over for him as the head of the Disney Corporation. Well, he was like, we're going to launch Disney Plus. So now you Kevin, working your fingers to the bone. I don't care.
Yes.
We're paying you millions of dollars.
Spread it thin.
Pumping out these
pump
projects.
Out the shows, pump out the movies. Let's get them out. Get them out. Get them out.
People hated working for Bob Chapek. That it seems obvious. He was let go by the governing board of Disney. He was fired, and Bob Iger, who had kind of been like hanging around in the background, like, I'll help out with COVID. If you want me, like, I'll be down the road. And they're like, okay, Bob. But
Bob Iger Brady. He's been sitting at home bored as hell. Like, I want to get back into the game, bro.
Yeah, it was basically like a Conan O'Brien situation with the late night, with the Tonight Show. If anybody remembers that from like the early 2000s, Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, look it up. Anyway, he came back and immediately was like, hey, those 18,000 projects that you were doing, Kevin, we're going to pause that. And the Hat Man had to have been like, thank God, because I was not ready to pump out a Echo show or whatever that is. Wasn't ready to do it. But so that being said, they're going to start, I think, focusing on, they already moved back the Marvels, right?
Yeah. And
it's coming out in November. So
yeah. So they're going to start.
That's a movie, right?
Yeah.
That is a movie.
I'm worried for that one, guys. I'm a little worried for it, but I'll be there, but I'm a little worried for it.
I am not worried in the slightest. I am hyped.
It's going to make $1 billion.
It's going to be nice to see Kamala Khan cook on the big screen, though. I'm not going to lie. That's my girl right there. That's real. That's going to be
my
real
young goat.
I can't wait, bro. I love her.
So they're really going to start trying to focus, I think, more energy on these projects individually and maybe decreasing the amount of films and stuff, and also not working their visual effects artists to the bone, which had led to some of the disdain for some of these movies by some people. So yeah, we'll see how that works. I know we aren't, CGI bad guys on here, but they didn't look as good as the movies and the shows in this did not look as good as, like, the Moon Knight CGI was actively horrendous.
I mean, so was some of the what's the Miss Marvel one, the Kamala Khan one. There were parts of Miss Marvel that were pretty shitty in CGI department, and there was a huge drop off between the quality in the movies and the quality in the shows, and the quality of the movies was suffering as well. So this is a good change for all of us. I'm with Dex. What Dex said earlier, when Dex said this movie didn't look particularly better than Thor: Love and Thunder, but it didn't look worse either. It was all about the same to me in terms of the quality of some of that stuff. Some of it really worked, and some of it didn't. I didn't really love what they were doing with the problem. The when he goes and sees a whole bunch of other Ant-Man. I don't really like the way that was pretty looking, but there were parts of it that I thought looked really cool. So I thought it was a mixed bag in the way that it looked, but hopefully we'll start to get the movies to look even better now that there'll be more time and focus on everything, and the shows can look better too.
Sitting through the credits, there were so many fucking visual effects teams on this movie.
Every single one of them, man.
There were like 18 different visual effects studios that had like hundreds of people listed underneath their like credits.
This was nothing but green screen, bro. Like, this whole film takes place green screen and visual effects literally everywhere.
And you can kind of tell at some points, like they almost look like they're keyed in, kind of like Dex is right now. You and Dex with the blurred background, like you can kind of like see the outline sometimes of it. But the like environments never bothered me. There were people on Twitter that were like, especially when the trailers come out, is just like, oh, none of this looks actually real. And I tweeted at somebody because he was getting roasted, and I just said, man, if I were them, I would have actually gone to the quantum realm.
Christopher Nolan would have built a quantum realm in his garage, and they would have shot everything there.
How dare them not make the PIM particles and go to the actual.
And like a lot of what people are talking about with it not looking real, that's literally just bokeh. Like that's just background blur, like fucking portrait mode on your iPhone. Like it looks the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it doesn't look real. Okay, like that's just what cameras look like, buddy. Sorry. Like,
no, I don't know. Like, we can continue to talk about the scale problem, or what were you calling it, Tej? The stakes problem, rather. It just feels to me, Jonathan Majors took this role because, one, like we said, he was awesome. But he gets to play 1,000 different characters, which would be the only reason that a seasoned actor, he's not even that old, he's like 32, that somebody as talented as him would take and sign their life away, definitely, to like 5, 6, 7 films and TV series,
and the money. Let's not forget about the bag. Let's not forget about the bag.
Yeah, there's
just come across
several million reasons that people would sign their life away to do this.
He just came across generational wealth. But this is the guy that like was in Last Black Man in San Francisco. Like he was making these indie projects, and
he just made magazine dreams.
Yeah, these
which I want to see.
Studies.
Definitely.
Which Sean Finney had a really interesting point. Is he the most talented actor that is that ripped?
He might be, because he could really do drama. Like he can really do dramatic stuff and close-up intimate stuff. And some of this, like the bars he's delivering in this movie, the way that he's doing the intimate scenes, the scenes down there with Janet, the way he's kind of, his character is he's acting one way towards Janet until she touches the spaceship and realizes that he's Kang. And then like some of the dramatic stuff that he's doing, he's just a really good actor. He can do that stuff. And obviously he happens to be jacked, which helps when he's beating the shit out of Ant-Man. It helps that he looks like a fucking boxer.
Those are fucking nuts.
He's about to be in Creed 3. He's huge, man. He's Michael B. Jordan gets fucking huge for those movies, and he just walks on set and he's already the biggest dude on set. He's gonna beat the shit out of Michael B. Jordan. I can't wait.
Fucking bodybuilding movie.
all of your Kang dilemma is gonna be settled when he cooks Michael B. Jordan.
That's fact. If he cooks Michael B. Jordan, then that does count as a body for Kang. I definitely agree with that.
Give it Killmonger the beast.
That counts. If he gets Killmonger the beast, that's MCU canon. If he destroys Killmonger, that's an MCU win right there. Facts.
Sorry, somebody's already made that edit on TikTok. I saw it today, by the way. No, so there's a reason he takes us several $1 million, like you said, in fact, but he also gets to play all of these characters. There's going to be one character that is going, like, we didn't see Kang the Conqueror be that evil. It was just kind of told to us that, it's a couple of flashbacks. There's going to be one of these dudes that is just pure villainy.
I need it. It so bad.
In this one, he was like, I'm the good one. I'm the one that can help you. Like, these other ones, they're going to come to kill you. They're going to ruin, end your world. I've seen how this shit ends. I'm trying to protect y'all. Like,
now we don't need here to help. Any of the silly ones with like the costumes and things like that. Like I don't.
Some of those accents not rocking with. I'm not.
Some of those costumes looked ridiculous and did not look scary in the slightest. But obviously, you got to do like 8 billion of them. One. He looked ridiculous as the Egyptian one to me, and I think that's going to be an important one. But the first thing I thought was, if they try to backdoor and put Jonathan Majors in Moon Knight season 2, it's still not beating the allegations. I'm not watching. I'm sorry. I'm not going back to Egypt with y'all. I'm sorry.
Look, man, I'm gonna watch, but I'm gonna be upset about it.
Is he's going to be? He's like the movie star now, right?
I mean, he's in a huge moment right now.
As far as like after Creed comes out, I think after Creed comes out, as far as like young movie stars, that it's gonna be like him and Florence Pugh. Who I'd love to see in a movie together, by the way. They need.
I agree with Royden on this one. I don't know. Dex seems to disagree, but I'm with Royden on this one.
Did either of y'all see Devotion? I didn't.
I watched it on.
I heard he was good in it. I did not watch it
because that's what I'm like. That's the reason that I'm like, I don't know, because like Devotion came out and I feel like no one cared. Really.
But didn't we say on this podcast that we don't view movie stars now as box office? We've said that.
Yeah. That some of they're not all gonna. Obviously, that movie was. It looks like they were making it to make a lot of money, but I just think it's tough that Top Gun happened in the same year, and that movie saved cinema.
Yeah, we can't do two plane movies.
We can't do two plane movies, guys. I'm just sorry. Because you're not gonna make a better movie than Top Gun. That's the greatest movie of all time, and so. Unfortunately, we were like, oh, I like Jonathan Majors, and we didn't go see it at the box office.
That movie tanked, by the way.
Picked an incredibly unlucky year to have a Glenn Powell movie. Any other year, this is the greatest Glenn Powell plane movie of all time.
Also,
1 year.
Not for nothing, that movie's just kind of fine. Like it really isn't anything. It's on Paramount. You can watch it. It's like it's a decent Monday night watch, but it's not like if you read kind of the story, if you read the Wikipedia, you'll be kind of like, oh, do I want to watch that? And yeah, so it's a good movie and it looks good, and Jonathan Majors is good. Glenn Powell is good in that movie, but it's kind of a nothing.
Also, like I don't know if I can say that Jonathan Majors is going to be like the movie star when, my boy like Paul Mescal's out here. He's acted in like 2 things. He got an Emmy nom and an Oscar nom. Like,
but Paul Mescal doesn't care about, he just like whisper talks and dates Phoebe Bridgers. Like he doesn't care about stardom at all.
It seems like a good gig if you can get it.
Phoebe Bridgers is great.
Although I think they broke up.
It seems like a great gig.
Although I think they broke up. I think this is now celebrity romance corner with One Take Pod. I think she's dating Bo Burnham.
Whoa.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, so you got like your Paul Mescals of the world. I mean, fucking Austin Butler is about to win an Oscar right now.
Please, bros. Please don't do this right now, bro. Please.
Ew, dude. You want to talk about that news? Please tell.
I don't want to be anti-Austin Butler. He seems like a nice guy. I gotta separate my Elvis hate from Austin Butler because he did a good job. But
He's still Elvis. He's still doing
Elvis to this day.
I just don't care about Elvis, bro.
Austin Butler hasn't separated himself from the Elvis stuff.
That's a good point. I mean, and I wouldn't either if it means I'm gonna milk that shit to an Oscar run. I can't blame him. It's shameless, but I would do the same thing. So I can't blame the guy. But he's got to be in something that I love for me to have my moment with him. And I haven't had my Austin Butler moment. I haven't had
Dune
that, like,
2.
I love him.
It's coming, baby.
I know he's going to be in Dune 2. I mean, I want Dune 2 to be good just like the rest of you. I'm just saying, I'm not as sure as some of you that Dune 2 is going to be good because Dune 1 is some huff. I'm sorry. It's Brown Eternals. That's all it is, bros. And I didn't love that shit.
The only reason that I'm sure Dune 2 is going to be good is because Florence Pugh is in it. And look,
I mean, that's true. Florence Pugh does not miss. That's big facts.
Yeah, Florence Pugh has never been bad. Hopefully Zendaya is actually in this one. And that'll make it a better movie. But anyway, yeah, do we have any more Ant-Man thoughts before we move on to Oscar?
What was the funniest parts for the movie for y'all?
The whole MODOK of it all was really, really funny to me.
Yeah, I died in Avengers.
Maybe I'm immature, but I loved every second of MODOK. I'm sorry, he was amazing.
I mean, with the hard cut of them pulling him butt ass naked out of that thing, and they're like, "Whoa!" Like, it was. I audibly like nobody knew that it was supposed to be a joke, and I was laughing hysterically in the theater. I think most people laughed at most of his bits, but like the whole introduction to him, it was so goddamn ridiculous that I was sitting there
like,
just like
big head baby butt thing, hilarious.
Yeah. I love how they had every character kind of realize who he was individually, so we got to have 4 moments of being like, Darren, what happened to you?
That and the you just drank me, like drink the ooze thing was like that whole bit.
That was good.
That was straight out of Rick and Morty, man. That
Yes,
was just
facts. That was
really
the most Rick and Morty thing in the whole show. It was like, oh, this is the easiest way to tell that a Rick and Morty guy was writing this film.
He has 7 holes, and he's just like, yeah, that's true. Paul Rudd's comedic timing is still great.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is very funny.
Yeah, he's good. He's good at being Ant-Man because Ant-Man is just Paul Rudd. So it's like it's a layup for Paul Rudd to be Paul Rudd on a movie set.
Yeah, but what I said, when he has to do like the acting thing, you know what? One more thing that I before we move on, the whole voiceover thing at the very end of the movie, the exposition dump that he has inside of his brain, that was weird.
That was weird. I think they're trying to show you that Kang might not be dead. I think that thing is like, is Kang really dead? Because they don't really
immediately know that Kang's not dead.
They didn't really show. Well, I mean that Kang, like, is that Kang really dead? Obviously, the post-credit scene is a whole bunch of Kangs, but I think that they're leaving it open about whether this Kang actually died, and maybe they're bringing that Kang back.
He's not dead because that's going to be the one that they come back, and that is the big bad. Like, he's the mean one.
I will say, if that Kang comes back, it does eliminate some of these issues I have with the movie, just because we did see the story of that Kang, whose story is going to continue in the other movies. I would like if they brought that Kang back. I like the portrayal. I like that portrayal of the character, and I would like if that Kang didn't get cooked by Ant-Man, and we can rub that from his record. I would love that.
Also, they did need to do the thing where it wasn't like, oh wow, we did this whole thing, and then there's eating at Maggiano's. It's like Teed said, it's like, oh, actually, shit is still bad, probably. Like,
one more thing, Michelle Pfeiffer still got it.
Yeah. But Nancy should have got cooked. And no disrespect to Michelle Pfeiffer, Nancy should have been cooked.
She don't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, she don't want to be there anyway. They should just cook. If they had cooked Michael Douglas, even though I love seeing Michael Douglas and stuff, and cooked Michelle Pfeiffer, I would have given it a whole, not a letter grade, but I would have probably went up half a letter grade. Just
they could have at least left Ant-Man in the quantum realm. Like,
yeah, like, you don't even have to kill Ant-Man. Just leave him down there. We can get him back literally in the next movie. He can just pop back up. Like, it's fine. We don't care. But I should have left the movie theater been like, Ant-Man stuck down there. Ant-Man, Kang is him. Kang locked Ant-Man in the quantum realm.
Yeah, that's
What's the next movie? What's next?
Marvel.
Guardians 3.
Guardians 3.
No, Guardians 3. That's right.
That's going to be good.
They are getting cooked.
They are. You're waiting for people to get cooked. They're getting cooked, brother.
They are getting cooked.
And
if we could, so sick and tired of being in these movies, all of them, literally all of them, except
I don't know if Chris Pratt is. I think
all of them except Chris Pratt are so tired.
I'm sure Chris Pratt would be like, no, I'm still good, guys. I'm still here.
Chris Pratt will fake being a soldier and be Star-Lord until he dies.
Chris Pratt is the one who should die in this movie, but they might make everyone else die because they don't want to be in these movies anymore, including James Gunn. James Gunn is like, this is it. I'm out.
I'm going to a whole nother superhero company.
Competition.
James Gunn is the ops now. Like, after this movie, James Gunn is officially the ops, bro.
Y'all have one competitor. I'm going over there.
Oh my God.
I'm surprised Disney could, like, y'all couldn't get this man a non-compete at all. Like, nothing.
He's about to make some real cinema for DC.
He did that to him. He broached his contract with those weird tweets, and they fired him. And then they were like, "Ooh, wait,
wait, no, come back."
I expect greatness from him. I expect Guardians 3 to be pretty great. And if we can attribute the bodies that we're about to catch and Guardians somehow to Kang, I would respect that. I would love that. He don't even have to appear in the movie. Just be like, oh yeah, Kang sent us. Bah, everybody did. Then I'm like, cool. Kang got some real gunners on his side that kill some superheroes. I need that.
Rocket cooked. Batista cooked. Gamora cooked.
Again. Because
Zoe Saldana is so fucking ready to be out of the MCU, bro.
She says that as she has signed her life away to 18 Avatar films.
Yeah,
I know Vin Diesel's not tired. Vin Diesel's probably like, I don't know what you guys are why you guys are leaving. I'm getting checks.
Why y'all upset about this?
Vin Diesel was dead ass like, we could do a solo group movie. I'm with that.
Can I bring my friends? They're all in my other movie.
Bring my family.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's been recording fucking rocket shit at his house for years, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah, this
like, we're
easiest
done
check
now."
Bradley Cooper gets. He's like, let's keep making these movies, guys. I don't have to leave my house to make this shit.
He doesn't even do the motion capture for that shit.
Hell no, he does that shit at his house.
It's James Gunn's brother.
Cash in checks.
Oh man. Oh, one question I had. Them being able to get right back out of the quantum realm was really weird.
Nobody even realized they were gone, bro. They popped back up, and people were like, "Wait,
No,
yeah,
well,
we're
like
missing."
Cassie like types in some coordinates, and they're like, "Oh, we have another door." Okay,
Yeah, whatever.
cool. Sure.
They didn't even miss a meal. They got back in time for dinner.
Dex, do you want to talk about the BAFTAs?
I sure do.
I haven't
Go
looked
on.
at this at all. Go ahead, lead us there.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked at the rest of the BAFTAs either because they don't really matter all that much for most of the awards. I know Kate Blanchett won, which, shout out. She's the front
Seems like
runner.
she's gonna
Probably
run
a good sign for
she's
her.
Gonna come away with it, I think. Bro.
Yeah, I think she's got it at this point. But the big noteworthy thing from the BAFTAs, which is like the English acting awards, basically the English Oscars, is that Austin Butler won Best Actor over Colin Farrell, who, basically, if this was politics, this was a candidate for president losing the primary in their home state. Like, fucking Austin Butler is Joe Biden right now, and Colin Farrell is Bernie Sanders. Like, this is getting a little nasty.
This is a Dewey
here.
Beach Truman moment.
Yeah, this is getting a little nasty. Like, because Colin Farrell was still like, we're hanging around. We were like, okay, he's got a chance at it. Brendan Fraser kind of on the fringes, whatever. Austin Butler in the mix too. Cool. And then Colin Farrell fucking lost in his home territory in a movie
That's
about
nasty.
Ireland. The movie's about Ireland. Like, you could not picture a more perfect BAFTA win. And Banshees won a bunch of other awards like before they announced Best Actor. So people were like, oh, the BAFTAs just fucking love Banshees. Like, they're just going to win everything. And then, no, not Colin Farrell. So today, what is it? February 19th, 2023.
You locking it in?
Colin Farrell's dead, dog. Like, it's over.
I think that
Austin
sunk his
Butler?
ship. I think it's done.
I'm not locking in Austin Butler yet. Brendan Fraser might have something to say about it, but like, it's like 95% Austin Butler at this point.
That just makes me sad.
The olds love Elvis. Elvis didn't even go overseas. I mean, in the war he did, but like touring, he never went. That was the whole point of that movie.
But something about it, man. Like, I don't know. But yeah,
BAFTAs are nasty for that decision. I don't even like Banshees, and the BAFTAs are nasty for them.
Austin Butler might got it.
Sure, whatever.
I have
Do the
to
speech in your Elvis voice. That'll be funny. We can
please don't do that. Austin Butler, I'm begging you, literally begging you, just be Austin Butler on the stage. You're winning this award because of your work and not Elvis. Please don't be Elvis on the stage. Please, I'm begging you.
Be from Anaheim, California, please.
Also,
Just
Bill
be yourself,
Nye,
Austin.
Bill Nye, also an English actor. He lost too. So that's just
BAFTAs are nasty, brother.
That was
That's
dead
nasty.
on arrival. That movie was never good. He was never going to win anything for that role.
but he's literally English. Like, it's the English acting awards. Like, that's
No, it's just their film academy. Like, yeah,
still
sure.
like, yeah, like, but they prefer English actors most of the time to
I would imagine, yeah.
Americans.
So do Americans.
So both of them losing to Austin Butler. That's not a great
Tough
sign.
look.
I have to talk about my week in cinema. I've spent a lot of time in the movie theaters this week.
Real quick,
ton.
All Quiet on the Western Front won Best Film, actually, which is kind of interesting.
Does it have a chance at the Oscar? I don't like the odds of it, but I haven't seen it yet. I see it next week.
I haven't seen it either.
I loved it. It is a tough watch.
I
I'd say
figured.
it has a chance, but still extremely unlikely.
I think it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. Guys.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for Everything Everywhere All at Once to lose. Like, something would have to go wrong.
Hey, that would bring good feels and joy abound. I would love that decision if they made it.
There's a lot of talk on like podcasts that are a lot more elevated than ours how this is actually a bad movie year, and I don't know where that came from.
I don't agree. Except you,
insane.
if you watch Elvis and you thought that was indicative of the year, then I would agree. But there's some real cinema in these Oscars.
So yeah, that's a lot of like heady talk of why this is actually bad, and I don't know where that came from, and I will not accept that narrative. Thank you.
They didn't see Top Gun.
I've only seen 8 out of the 10 Best Picture nominees, and I thoroughly enjoyed 7 of them. And the last one I thought was fine. So like, that's already a banner year for the Oscars, and apparently All Quiet on the Western Front bangs. So they might go 8 for 9 by the time I finish watching that.
I'm watching All Quiet on the Western Front this week. I have Women Talking this week as well, and I have Triangle of Sadness next week. So I'm tapping in, and that'll be my 9 of 10 because obviously I have not watched Avatar.
Yeah, man. Make sure you're sober when you watch All Quiet on the Western Front, and
That's fair.
And then take substances because you'll need them after, not during. You'll be you'll be in a bad way during.
Substances will definitely help for Triangle of Sadness, though. So.
What was your week in cinema? You're seeing all the movies that we poors in rural Texas don't get to see.
Yeah, middle America.
I spent pretty much my whole week in movie theaters. I saw Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave last weekend, which was easily one of the best movies I saw in 2022. Incredible film. Did not get nominated for any Oscars, which really shocked me after having watched the movie. It was beautiful. That's the same director who made Old Boy. But this movie is a lot less violent and a lot more introspective, I guess I would say. Incredible cinema. I also saw Titanic re-released in theaters this week. Unfortunately, it was only released in 3D. I didn't necessarily want to watch Titanic in 3D, but Titanic is still real cinema. You know, I am anti-James Cameron because of the Avatar agenda. However, Titanic is still real fucking cinema. It's still great. 25 years later,
that film into like the top 5 again. You know that, right?
Yeah, it pushed past Avatar. It was greatness. We had to put Avatar back in its rightful place.
That's fair.
That I
Okay,
appreciate.
that's fine.
And Titanic is just still great, guys. And Leo is still really him. Like that is an incredible Leo performance that I don't think got nearly the recognition it deserved because we didn't know that Leo was really him yet. But he's just great in the movie. He's just great.
Yeah, way back when he was his current girlfriend's age.
Oh, brother.
Wow. He really set himself up for that one. Leo, that's your fault, brother. I saw, of course, Ant-Man this week. And then today I saw a movie called Close, which is a Belgian film that just came out, but I can guarantee you it's going to be an Oscar movie. It is beautiful. It's by a guy named Lucas Dant. The film's all in French. It's at least going to make noise for Best Foreign Picture. It is that good. There's this 15-year-old kid kind of who is the star of the movie. His name's Eden Dambride, and I shit you not. You got to see I can't tell whether the director did a better job or the actor did, but those two together were like Shaq and Kobe. Incredibly moving film, very beautiful story, very sad. I was a complete mess in the movie theater. The Oscars of 2022, 2023 haven't even happened yet, and we're already bringing you coverage of 2024 Oscar movies. I guarantee it's going to be making noise around that time. Go see Close. It's beautiful. And I'm going to see The Fablemans again on Monday, and then all the Oscar movies are named. Yeah. We are back. Real cinema is really here. I love it. Real cinema hours are back.
I gotta get to All Quiet and Women Talking this week, and then I'll be done.
Women Talking.
I gotta watch Till Leslie. Not yet. It was just in theaters like last month.
I'm not clicking on Till Leslie. I'm still very upset.
I'm also upset, but I gotta watch. I have to at this point.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I'm not going to finish Blonde though. Sorry. I got like halfway through.
I will never finish Blonde. That will never be a movie that I attempt to finish.
No, thank you.
I never even hovered over Blonde on the flash page.
You didn't miss anything. I turned it off about 25 minutes in. I said, you know what? This isn't for me.
Thing. I got like literally halfway through the movie and I was like, I don't care what happens at this point. Like it doesn't matter.
That film is gross, bro. That everybody associated with Marilyn with that woman should be ashamed of that film and like disgusted by it. That's that shit is gross. It's not good.
I know we're a movie podcast, but I've been watching a lot of TV series. We just blew through Sex Lives of College Girls on HBO Max.
Season 1 was dope as hell. I still haven't watched season 2 yet. I
Oh,
gotta
it's
get
so
to that.
funny. It's so good. It's just like one of 18 Mindy Kaling projects, but like it's so good. It's a very, very good.
Did y'all notice that hated that Velma show so much that they renewed it for season 2?
Got a lot of eyes, I guess.
I hate that happens because it's like there was no discussion about how bad the show was because everyone agreed immediately this is the worst thing that we've ever seen. Yeah. There was no supporters of it,
but it got a lot of eyes.
But it got a lot of eyes, so they renewed it for season 2, even though apparently it's awful. Apparently it's horrible.
Yeah, I didn't get my eyes, so
I didn't get my eyes. I saw the preview and I said this shit looks trash. I'm not in on that.
As soon as I saw that it was like an adult like animation, like that TVMA kind of shit, I was like, you know what? No thanks. Don't need that.
Weekly Last of Us recap. It's fire. It's
More great cinema.
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I wasn't really feeling The Last of Us like that until this week, and now I'm like, I'm all in. Like now I'm invested for sure.
Because they were doing some acting. You got invested.
And also like in the earlier episodes of the show, it's like I don't really like you're meeting new people and then they go away immediately. So I'm like, so I just don't care about anyone. That's cool.
Okay, I just don't care about anybody then.
Oh yeah, okay. Everyone's just gonna die. Fine, whatever. But now, shit to shook up. No spoilers for people who haven't watched episode 5 yet. But yeah, shit to shook up at this point.
Did you play the game?
I did play the game. I played both games and the DLC, which is add on to the first game. I played all of them, so I was a mark, and I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
As somebody, we played the games, and it's like by this point in the games, you're expecting all of this action and stuff, and they've had a couple episodes where they've turned up the notches on the action and things like that, but they just use these episodes as like deep character studies of these video game characters that we know and love, and I'm like, this is incredible, like just an incredible turn to do that. You know what I mean? It was really, really, really interesting TV making. That's where I'm at with it. Of course, they had one of the most devastating episodes of television ever, in episode 3. If you know, you know. But
did they though?
Are you a heartless son of a bitch?
I'm like, it was cool. It was good, but like, I don't know those people.
You tripping, Dex? You tripping, bro?
Dead heart.
You tripping? You're not feeling, bro. They're doing real cinema and real heart and real people, feeling on screen, bro.
Nick Offerman going, "You were my purpose." That didn't like get you.
No,
I'm old. I'm satisfied. That didn't get. Oh, come on.
It was cool. Like it was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good.
But the first thing you do is meet his daughter. The daughter is so charming. Boom, she out of here. Like that. They've been doing such a great job, man. It's seeing what it was in the game and then seeing how they were able to expound upon the universe and just make it a lot more intimate, a lot more, drama driven as opposed to action driven. I love it. And getting the guy from Chernobyl to do that is just such a smart decision because Chernobyl was real cinema. It was very hard to watch. It was very sad. And it's clear to see that he can make these kind of stories where you kind of zoom in on these people in their everyday lives amongst all the chaos. He's just really good at doing that, and he's crushing it to me.
Royden, did you say you haven't seen Chernobyl?
No, I have seen. I'm saying if you haven't seen Chernobyl, what are you doing?
That shit was
gotta watch Chernobyl. Good. It's great.
It's like legitimately one of the best miniseries of all time. Anyway, we're going
100 out of 100 on like every review service.
Yeah. Craig Mazin, the guy that wrote that, was writing like scary movie films. He was writing like the 3rd and 4th scary movie films, and then now has like a first look deal with like HBO. So that's life comes at you fast.
Speaking of scary movies, I watched all the Screams last week.
Oh, you did do that?
Yeah,
real cinema, bro.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like them as much as I did. Even the bad ones, 3 and 4, I was still like, these are cool. Like, a little ridiculous at parts, but still cool. Scream 5, fucking real goddamn cinema. Jenna Ortega,
that shit bangs, bro. That shit bangs.
Jenna Ortega is her. I'm so fucking excited for Scream 6 now. Like the trailer looks kind of fucked. Like I'm ready, dude.
Guys, you know what I'm ready for? Next week, Cocaine Bear.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
ready. I'm fucking
Next
ready.
week on this podcast, Cocaine Bear.
We are
That's all I
doing
gotta
it.
say. So do what you must to prepare for Cocaine Bear, but it's coming. All right, that has been a One Take podcast. You can find us at One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Pod on Instagram. For the like, you can find us at _humble Teej. You can find us at Lord Dex Hinton. You can find me at Roy Ogletree if you feel so inclined. Teej does 2 other podcasts except for this one because he doesn't like us and doesn't care about furthering this product. That's fine. You can find that at Slander You and at Underhooks Pod. Did y'all record about the title fight?
No, we haven't recorded in a while for Underhooks. We've been doing so much Slander You, but we need to tap back in because the UFC, the run the UFC's on right now, the next like 4 to 5 months of UFC is about to be mind-blowingly good. So it's perfect timing because now football's over. So it's really for me just a whole lot of basketball and a whole lot of UFC. I love this time of year.
Giving Dana White your dollars. Gross.
No, I don't pay Dana White. Respectfully, I'm not gonna talk about it on the internet, but I don't give Dana White no money, bro. Me and Dana have an understanding. I seek solace elsewhere, bro. So let's just say that.
You can find writing for Dex and sometimes for me, very rarely, but at apollohou.com under the movies and media section, I believe, pop culture section rather.
Yeah, pop culture. Check us out.
You have a written review for Ant-Man up there right now. So yeah, you can find us at those places. Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh.
All right, Dune 2 coming down the pipeline, as well as all the
Oppenheimer,
all the 18,000, the Thunderbolts stuff that's gonna come down in like 2028. So yeah,
and she ain't missed yet. Go check her out on the cover of Vanity Fair, cover of Vogue. She out here.
and
The agenda is winning.
we're out. Okay, if I can stop.